Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Impact Wrestling Press Pass podcast. I'm your host, Tom Hannifan. This is a media teleconference live on our Facebook page. I want to thank you all for joining us here, not only fans who are watching from around the world, but the contingent of media that are joining us to ask questions here that are also coming in from around the world. So we want to give a little moment for everybody to get situated in the Facebook page and get situated in this session right now. We are so excited for what's coming up this weekend, this Friday night, October 7th. Live on pay-per-view and Fight TV. It's our 18th annual Bound for Glory. It's the biggest event of the year for Impact Wrestling. And then for those of you that will be able to be there in attendance that Friday night in Albany, New York, don't forget you can possibly attend on Saturday night, October 8th. The fallout for Bound for Glory will also be taking place in Albany. Ticket information for both these events is available at IMPACTwrestling.com. And a quick note for fans that might be in attendance on Saturday, you guys can get your photo taken ringside with the National Arena League NAL Championship Trophy that is won by the Albany Empire. Obviously, we're right in Albany for the show, so we thank the Albany Empire for partnering with us for this weekend. Team captain Brandon Cisse and the team's mascots, Jack and Mac, will be available for photos at ringside. They'll be taken from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. right before the show gets started on Saturday night, and there will be a ceremony to honor the back-to-back NAL champions, the Albany Empire, at the show on Saturday as well. Also, in regards to the live events this weekend, again, for those of you that will be able to attend on Friday and or Saturday, our daily meet and greets for fans this weekend are figured out and situated. They're out on social media right now. For those that don't know, on Friday the 7th, for Bound for Glory, the pre-show will feature Steve MACLIN and the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Champions Vex. And then the post-show will feature Brian Myers. Will he still be digital media champion? We'll have to find out. And of course, Mickie James, who will be joining us here in a moment. It's the reason you're all here. And then on Saturday, October 8th, as I mentioned, the fallout from Bound for Glory, the pre-show will feature the Motor City Machine Guns and Mia Yim in the meet and greet. And the post-show will be Rosemary, Taya, and Jessica. That is going to be so much fun, especially with those three. So right now, I want to get to our guest of honor here on the Impact Wrestling Press Pass podcast. Joining us all the way from the United Kingdom at the moment, please welcome in Mickie James. Mickie, how are you today?
I'm so good. I'm so good. Thank you. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great. As I was saying, we got a lot of fans that are tuning in from all over the world. So it's very fitting that you're on a completely different continent. For me, we're really hitting every corner of the world for Impact Wrestling fans. And just a reminder to the media that are tuning in to ask questions here, you can raise your hand electronically in the Zoom app, and you can ask questions for Mickie throughout this. So as everybody's kind of getting organized here, Mickie, I just want to start off. This is your third Bound for Glory matchup. How special is it for you to compete the biggest event Impact Wrestling has to offer?
No, I mean, you said it, Tom. It is the biggest Impact Wrestling show of the year. It really is. I mean, it's an honor to be on the show. I think if you're an Impact talent, you kind of gear up and hope to have a position on the card for Bound for Glory. And I'm really excited because I'm wrestling Mia Yim for the first time in over a decade. And that's a match that I think the fans have been really looking forward to. It's a match that I have been looking forward to, especially because I've watched Mia grow so much over the last decade and do so much. So to be able to go face to face with her again after so much time and so many things have happened, it's really, really cool. And it seemed very fitting that it should happen at Bound for Glory because, of course, it's the biggest show of the year for us. So I'm really excited.
It makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
It was really cool to see on Impact Wrestling on Access TV last week, the history that you two have. And it goes all the way back to Maryland Championship Wrestling. Big thanks to them for providing us with the footage. That's the amazing thing about the wrestling community, providing us with that footage. And I know you're very interested in what Mia Yim's got to deal with this Thursday night on Access TV. It's Mia Yim versus Giselle Shaw, who you got very familiar with at Victory Road. But you're going to be on commentary for Yim versus Shaw. Is there anything in particular you're looking for on Thursday night?
Well, I know it's going to be an incredible match because after being in the ring with Giselle, I know she fancies herself and she has, she thinks very, very highly of herself. But she's incredibly talented. I have to say that, and I have to give it to her. And she put up one hell of a fight, and but she just didn't have what it takes to end the last rodeo. So that's too bad, so sad. But of course, she had something to say to Mia, and I think that I have so much love and respect for Mia, and I could be biased because when you saw that footage, it was Maryland Championship Wrestling, and a lot of people know that she got her start in Maryland Championship Wrestling, and I owe a lot of my success. Or when I first started, I transferred schools to Maryland Championship Wrestling, and that's really where I started to grow as a performer. So I think that was why it was so special for me to go back and wrestle her in her first, one of her first matches there so long ago. And now two people who have come kind of from the same kind of roots in a sense to now come forward here and go into Albany, and let's see what Mia has now, and if she can end the last rodeo. I don't think so.
The stakes couldn't be any higher. I
mean, it's pretty high. It's pretty high.
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Confidence,
yes.
Tom. Confidence. Yes. You go in without confidence, and you've already beaten yourself. Period.
I've known that about you for years. Plenty of confidence. So I'm going to quit my yakking and let's get to the media that are joining us. Once again, a reminder for all the media that are tuning in, just raise your hand virtually and the members of our staff will get to you. So the first question comes from Joey Carney of the Angle Podcast. Joey, what is your question for Mickie James?
Hi, Joey.
How are you, Mickie? How are you doing, Tom?
Doing great.
First off, I want to apologize in the state of New York for the weather that we have right now.
Thank you
it's a little cold, a little rainy, but hopefully by the weekend I'll be set up for you guys. But so last year at Bound for Glory, you captured the Knockouts World title from Deonna Purrazzo. This year you're fighting for something so much greater, your career, your love, your passion. Is there a difference in your mindset or your preparation from going in from a title match instead going in for a possible career-ending match?
Yes. Yeah, because obviously, there was no love lost between Deonna and I, and there was so much friction, and I felt like especially coming from, the journey I'd been on then, I felt like I had to prove it to myself that I could be champion again, and that I could beat Deonna and shut her up. I mean, she was the longest reigning Knockouts champion. She had held that title for a very, very long time and was a very dominant champion. And she was not afraid to tell everybody that. And I felt like it was due time somebody shut her up, right? So, and who better than yours truly, right? Plus, it would have felt really good to just shut her up, right? And it was important to me. And obviously it was a massive win, and it was massive for me to be able to come back and compete at Bound for Glory, because to be honest, I didn't even know if I was going to wrestle again or how that was going to look. And then this is a little bit different. Like I'm still proving something to myself, and I'm a fighter in my heart. I always have needed to have a reason and a purpose as to why I'm fighting, like it's never just been about going out there and having great matches. It's like about the purpose. And this purpose is, just proving that I still belong in that locker room. I mean, we have some of the greatest female talent in the world. We really, really do. And I believe that our Knockouts division is one of the strongest divisions out there, and it can go toe to toe and rise above any other division. And that's not me being biased, but it's me saying that the opportunities that are given to the women and the types of matches that are given to the women on television, for us, it's groundbreaking. We get to do some really, really incredible stuff, and we get a lot of time to do it. And I think with that being said, that's why it's so important to me to prove that I still belong, because these are harder hitting matches and longer matches. And I really want to test myself. And I said this against the best of the best. And that's why from Giselle, who's one of the newest knockouts on the roster. And she's got a hell of a lot to prove for herself. And it was important to test myself against her. And then Mia, because there is so much history and I do respect her on so many levels. And I know that it's going to be a tough battle and a tough match, but I don't want to give myself any excuses or any, I don't want to go easy on myself because the matches are only going to get harder and harder. The thing is with Mia, I don't think she's going to go lightly on me, but she respects me and she does love me. Whereas there are other ladies in the locker room and perhaps other locker rooms that don't love me so much. And those, they could be pulling out different stops that I may not expect. So I'm just looking at right now what's in front of me, and that's this weekend. And I hope Mia brings everything that she has because I want to have this last rodeo be some of the greatest body of my work, honestly.
Awesome.
Zoe, thank you for your question.
Of course,
Yeah,
man.
that was great.
Good luck at Bound for Glory. I know you don't need it because you're hardcore country, but happy to
Thank
see this
you.
match.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. I appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Joey. We appreciate it. As I mentioned, we have an international media audience. We have an international fan audience. So with that, let's head to India. We've now joined by Sai Krishna from Sportskeeda.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Mickie, it is wonderful to see you. I
Great
get
to see
talk.
you. Thank you.
So continuing with what you mentioned, like Impact Wrestling has some of the best female superstars, some of the best knockouts that you would find in the world, right? And Impact has been kind of a trailblazer for the entire industry, like with yourself and Diona Perazzo having the Texas Death Match in the main event of Hard to Kill in January. So how long do you think when we get a knockouts main event at Bound for Glory? Perhaps this.
Ooh, that's a
not
good
make-
question. That's a good question. I mean, Deanna and I had the first, it wasn't the first female main event because obviously if you go way back, Tara and I had the main event of Impact and it was a double segment in that cage match. And gosh, that was 2012, maybe 2011. And women have obviously main evented the show, but Deanna and I had the first for the Knockouts World Championship, where the Knockouts World Championship was the main event of the show. So for the Knockouts to be main event Bound for Glory, I mean, it could happen as early as next year. Obviously, it's not the main event this year, but I think it's always in the card. And I do believe like the Knockouts have been given so many opportunities. And even when I wasn't there to be able to go back and watch and see the opportunities that, Gail and Awesome Kong were being given while, other, like I was not there at the time. And, I was getting maybe 4-minute matches and I was seeing this stuff going, oh my God. But even when you look at the ladder match of Gail and Taryn Terrell, it was incredible. It was mind blowing. So yeah, I mean, I think the Knockouts have always been the difference makers and been far ahead of the curve as far as what the women have been allowed to do and the limitations. There are no limitations for the Knockouts. That's just the beauty of it. And you've seen the X Division match and you just saw Mia as one of the first one in that. What was that match, Tom? It was just this other weekend. What was
Monsters Ball just went down with Masha and not Masha, Masha and Allie Catch. Yes,
Masha and Allie Catch. But then Mia had that triple.
She was in the Triple Threat Revolver. That's what you're talking about.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
that's
Triple
what it's
Threat
called.
Revolver at Victory Road. She was awesome.
It was incredible. It was incredible. So I think that the opportunities are just going to keep coming and coming for the Knockouts. And the thing is I don't feel like there are limitations or boundaries, and that's the most beautiful thing. So, yeah.
Sai, I believe you had another question.
Yes. My second question was you're preparing for Mia Im, right? You have already wrestled her previously in the past, and you have overcome in the past. But the Mia Im that we see now is completely different to what she was a decade ago. And you also competed with her in a tag team bout recently. Unfortunately,
I did.
You ended up on the losing side. But
You don't have to remind me, Sai. How dare you?
My apologies. My apologies.
It's okay.
So I just wanted to ask you, do you have anything special prepared for Mia that she hasn't seen yet that you would unleash on her at Bound for Glory?
I don't know. I definitely have been training and practicing, and I just had a match in the UK against this young up and comer Lizzie Evo. So I think it's just kind of best to always stay fresh and always keep training. And you're right. The Mia Yim that I saw over a decade ago was very young and still, very green, I guess is what we would say. I mean, she hadn't had very many matches. And I have watched her in this journey over the last decade and seen how much she's grown. And I know how talented she is, and how talented she is. And I know that she respects me, but if she truly respects me, like the way that I know that she's not going to try to go easy on me, at all, because she knows that's not what I want. Because when I said I want it to be challenged and I want it to prove that I still belong here, that means I want everything that you have. So it's going to be a hard hitting match. I think both of us are going to surprise each other, just with, kicking each other's butts, but out of love and respect, always.
Saeed, thank you so much for your questions. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to stick with the international audience. Since you're in the UK, let's bounce to France real fast. Lucas, forgive me if I'm not getting the pronunciations right. I'm a stickler for that. Lucas Charpio from VL Media. Please correct me if I got that wrong.
Exactly. Thank you, Tom, for the introduction.
Awesome.
Hi, Mickie.
Hello.
Absolute honor talking to you today. My question, couple of weeks ago, you announced on Impact the last rodeo, like if you lose one more match, you will be gone from professional wrestling. I wanted to ask you about the process behind this choice, because let's face it, your year, this 2022 year, is one of your best year in your career. You worked in so many different promotions, NWA, Game Changer Wrestling, kicking the forbidden door in the beginning of the year. So what led to that decision of saying, hey, if I lose one more match, I'm gone, while still being one of the best women wrestlers in the world today?
Oh, thank you for saying that. I had to go home and I had to think about a lot of things. And, the reality is that I love this business so much, and I love it too much to not be the best that I can be. And, over the last, 2 decades, I've seen the business evolve, devolve, and then come back again for the women. And, it's true. We have, everywhere you look, is some of the greatest talent out there that are on television. And I always said that I wanted to, I never want it to fade away, and I just don't want that. I don't want to go out a shell of who I used to be. And if I can't be that champion and I can't fight the way I need to fight, because the truth is my body hurts and I love it so much and I give everything that I have, and then it takes me longer to come back. It takes me longer to heal. And I just want to be able to spend time with my son, and he's only 8, and I want to be able to go to his games and do all of these things, and still be able to be my best self for him. But I also want to be, if I'm going to stay in the business and still be here, I just want to be the best champion and be the best Mickie James that I can be. And if I can't be that, then I don't belong here anymore. And that's just the reality. So
I'm sorry if I made
but that's
you
it. No, it's okay.
Apologize.
I get emotional because I love this business so much, and I'm so grateful that we've come so far, and I'm so grateful that the women are getting all these opportunities. And I think it took a long time and a lot of women to get here, and to be able to live in this journey for so long, and to see it and see so many women thriving and being truly seen as equals, and being able to make the money and main event the shows and do all of these things. It's amazing. It's amazing. And if you would have told, little Alexis Lurie when I was first at TNA, that these things were going to happen, I would have thought you were insane, because we were just novelties. You know, you were lucky to get a spot. You were lucky to be a manager. You were lucky to get a match. And now it's true equality. And it's awesome. But I just, you know, yeah, that's all. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but that's pretty much the gist of it. And it took like a real soul search to come to that. And yeah, that's all it is.
Well, thank you, Tom, for.
Oh, I think
Thank
we had a
you.
connection issue there, but
That's
Lucas, thank
okay.
you so much for your question. We really appreciate it. Obviously there's a
Sorry,
lot of emotion that goes into that. It's okay, Mickie. It's all right.
I
It's part
just
of it.
love wrestling, damn it.
I know you do. Next up, we're going to stay in the UK, where you're based right now, Mickie, with George Booker from What Do You Call It podcast. George?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well.
George?
Mickie, by the way, thank you for the video, because I know the convention in Wales wasn't great, but I received it from you and Nick, so it was
That's
awesome.
all right. Oh,
makes
you're
sense.
welcome. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know that was a
Yeah,
that was a
it
hot
wasn't-
mess, but
wasn't
that's
the
all
best,
right.
but it is what it is. But
It was still fun.
It's all good. But I want to ask, in Impact and other companies, the tag team titles introduced over the years, if you could form a team with anyone, who would it be and what would you call yourself? Just because, surprisingly, you haven't actually won the Impact Women's tag team titles.
Mickie doesn't play well with others, apparently.
So Deanna won't be getting a call then.
Yeah, very selfish, apparently. God, that's so tough. You know, I honestly believed and thought that it would have been Chelsea, because I thought I had a true friend, and I felt like a bit of a mentor to her. God, it's really, really hard. I would say Mia, because I really love and I respect her.
Yeah.
If there was one person I would say, and it's one person I would really love to wrestle, but also one person who I watched after I'd left Impact and kind of watched her grow, it would be Taylor Wilde, because I feel like we're very similar in a lot of ways. And I love the way she wrestles. I think she's amazing. So maybe her. I just think that we have a lot in common. I mean, obviously she's not country, because she's Canadian. So I know Canadians can be country. I don't whispering it. God, who else?
You know who's country, Mickie? Just to hop in here and thinking of Impact Legends is ODB.
OD Bizzle. Faux shizzle. Yes.
That could have been
God,
fun.
that would be
That
great.
could have been
Who won the Knockouts championship from me before I left last time? Yeah.
Not to trudge up bad memories, right?
No, it's okay. We're friends. We're friends now. It's all right. We've forgiven and we've moved on.
Yes. George, thank you so much for your question.
No
We
worries.
appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you,
Take care,
George.
everyone. Peace.
All right.
Up
Have a good
next
one.
is Ash Rose Nova from TWM News. Ash, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Ash.
For having me, and Mickie, it's an honor to speak to you. You too, Tom.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, you know, before I ask my questions, don't ever worry about disappearing. Don't ever worry that, you know, having that feeling. I'm not going to let it happen. All of us here ain't going to let it happen. We're not going to let anyone forget about hardcore country.
Thank you. I
So-
appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard because people get, you know, as they always say that saying, it's like here today, gone tomorrow. And it's people, the business moves so fast, and people forget history so quickly, you know, because there's always, I feel like there's always this, first ever, even when it's not first ever, you know? So it's just like it's easy to be forgotten, and I see it happen. I've seen it happen, you know, and then I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given and for the things I've been able to do in my career. And I'm grateful for the fans, because they don't let me forget it. So I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely. I consider you more than a legend. I consider you iconic. So
Oh, thank you.
Agreed.
sure thing. Yeah, absolutely. And let's get on with my questions about your last rodeo. I know because I was there in Texas. I saw you give your speech. in this last rodeo, now both of these questions go together. One of them is, any concerns about Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly running out there, running around? Don't get me wrong, Jordan is a strong competitor. Probably, I say she is the ideal knockouts champion.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
The
And she's well-rounded because she's strong and she's an athlete and she represents the championship with class and with dignity. And I completely respect Jordan as a champion. And I'm equally, the thing about someone like a Masha is that I feel like she'd be willing to go to depths that Jordan, out of respect, would never do, because she just is a different style wrestler. And hardcore country is in my name, but I've never wrestled or fallen onto open soda cans, nor do I really want to, So it's like, these are things that I have to go, these are different tests that when that time comes, I hope that I can deliver. And if I have to face I said I wanted to face everyone and the best of the best. And if that means I have to face Masha, I'm going to have to face Masha because she's in that locker room, yes, I worry, but I don't worry, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And that's just kind of how it's going to go.
Absolutely. Second question is, last rodeo. Who says, maybe we see you compete in an X division match and intergender matches, anything, maybe, just suggesting, maybe people want to see that. Just curious, it's your last rodeo.
I'm open to it. I'm definitely open to it. I think, those are pretty, when I watched the ladies compete in that X division match, I was like, whoa, and I've done cage matches and I've done hardcore matches, but never an X division match. And I was always astounded when I would watch the men do it. And when I watched that women's match, I was blown away. And intergender matches too, I'd be open to it for sure. I've fought my only thing is, and I've had intergender matches before, but I've fought for a very long time for women's wrestling that I never want to lose focus of how important that is to me, but when I say that and I say women, I want the women to be seen as equals. I mean, you saw Mia go out there and they didn't treat her any differently. They treat her like one of the boys. So, and you have to expect that because everybody's in it to win it, So yeah, unless it's going, we'll see what happens at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But if, I could go kick Brian Myers' ass and that would be fun.
Ash, thank you so much for your questions. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ash. I appreciate it.
If I was going to vote for any intergender match, feel free to hit Matthew Raywalt in the head with a guitar again, like you did at Hard to Kill. Personally, I just love that. That's just me being a fan.
Twice as nice.
Let's continue going. We got about a half hour left here. So let's get to Bill Pritchard from WrestleZone.com. Bill?
Oh, hello, Bill.
Hello, Mickie. Hi, Tom. How are you both doing?
Doing great.
Wonderful.
I'm good. I have a couple of questions if I have time. But first one is last rodeo. It's not the R word that people might think of when this sort of thing comes up in wrestling. Was this a conscious decision to not call it a retirement and to kind of take it another way?
Yeah, I think it was a conscious decision to not, because then if I say, oh, this is my retirement tour, I feel like it feels like I'm defeated. It feels like I'm defeated already because mentally, and I said this coming on, like if in your mind, most battles are won or lost in your mind. They start there, and I always say you have to train your mind harder than you train your body because, the body can endure a lot of things, but your mind makes all the difference. And I think that's the way of a true champion. It's what makes people fight beyond what they're capable of, you know, because you just can believe yourself there. And you know, I think the most beautiful thing about this last rodeo is, you know, there's women I've never faced before. And the reality is a lot of these women, it's going to be the first time and the only time you're ever going to see me wrestle them, you know, because I don't know how long this journey is going to last, because I meant it when I said it, one loss and I'm done, I'm going home, you know, so it could be done at Bound for Glory. And I hope not, you know, I hope I can go all the way to the gold, and whoever's champion at that time, by the time I get there, you know, I hope I can win the championship one more time. But if I can't, then I don't ever want to say I didn't give it everything that I had. So.
This is, you know, it's a big emotional week. The call's been heavy so far, so I kind of wanted to end it on a bit of a lighter note. You posted something last night about a terrible experience on a train.
Oh my God.
Was that the worst train ride that you've ever been on? Like, do you let James Storm off the hook?
When he shoved me in front of the train and tried to murder me?
Yes. Is now this the last experience?
This
Is that
may
the
have
worst
been
one?
worse. This may have been worse. And so we took a train into London. I don't know, because I also had to ride the underground train. The tube is what they call it here, which is equivalent to the New York subway. And I've never done the New York subway before. Which the tube is wonderful because it literally took us 5 minutes to get to our destination. And if we were in a car, it probably would have taken us 2 hours. And Nick is laughing at me because I've not been on a lot of trains in my life. It's something in America that we just don't do as much. And which is crazy because my son is obsessed with trains, like obsessed. And so we're going to book the Polar Express train for the holidays and all the things. So I'll say the train ride was lovely. Like, you got to go through the countryside and you could see the farmlands and all the thing. One, we had to switch trains going up there because someone had jumped in front of the train on the train right up there. So we had to switch our trains. I know this is getting dark. This is getting weird. And I was like, what? I'm mind blown. And Nick's like, it happens more often than you think. And I'm like, oh God. Then we're coming home and we caught, because we had a lovely show. We caught up with our friend Luke and Annie, and Luke helps run a bunch of the theaters in London. Sorry, guys. Runs a bunch of the theaters in London. We went to go see the Back to the Future musical. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
It was amazing. Amazing. If you get a chance, go see it. It was awesome. So we went to go see that, and then we're catching the tube. Still not a fan. Very crowded, very loud. But it's fine. Catch the tube back to then go catch our train. And it's the last train to come all the way back because, you know, his family is from kind of like the country outside of Kingsland. So we had to catch train back to Kingsland. And this guy was, Tom, did you see my tweet?
I did not. So I'm learning all this on the fly.
Okay. So this guy was loud talking on the train in the row, and he had 2 seats to us. And when we first got on the train, it was pretty packed. In the 2 seats with the table in front of us, and the guy across from him, bless his heart, he's got his headphones on because he's just like, I can't deal with this guy. He's like sprawled out, but not just sprawled out, but his feet are across the hallway on the armrest, just resting his feet on the armrest of the seat across the aisle, which someone has to put their hands on. You know, someone's gonna have to put their hands on that.
Right.
You know, so it's already gross. But his shoes, I feel like his cat had used him as a litter box, and he was unaware because it smelled like he had his feet in cat pee all day, and it was super hot. And he was on the speakerphone talking to his lady friend, for about an hour of this train ride. Oh my God. Until he finally got off. And he got off, and probably about 5 stops later, I told Nick, I was like, I can still smell his feet. I can still smell it.
Well, that's the lighter side of Mickey's trip.
Story time.
I'm sorry for derailing the call.
I see what you did there, Bill. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
very much.
You're welcome. But we had a lovely time.
A lovely time. Up next, keeping with our international audience, representing Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. This is Tyler from Toronto. Hi, Tyler.
Hey guys,
Tyler.
thanks a lot for taking my question here. Appreciate it. So Mickie, I kind of want to circle back. You were talking about Jordan Grace a little bit, and last week we had a chance to speak with Jordan. Now, I don't want to take away anything from Masha and Mia, obviously, who are two of the top competitors that Impact has to offer. But I did ask Jordan about potentially standing across the ring from you as the champion, and if she would be willing to end your career if it meant to hold on to that title. I'd just like to read you a quick little quote of what she said, and I'd just love to get your response to what she had to say, and just kind of your thoughts on how Jordan's represented the brand as a whole. So she had to say, I got to do what I got to do. I mean, she's the one who set this up for herself. It's not going to be my fault if I win the match. She's the one who told the fans if she loses another match that she'll quit. That's not going to be on me. Yeah,
I don't see a lie in that. And I wouldn't expect anything less from her. You know, she is the champion, and, you know, no one wants to lose the championship. I didn't want to lose the championship. I mean, and I think, you know, if she was willing to let me win out of respect, then I don't feel like that would be a match that myself or the fans would want to see. I mean, there's a reason why. I mean, she's having incredible matches, and I think that she represents the company and she represents that championship very well. And she looks like a champion. She goes out there and kicks ass, and she's a very dominant champion. And I love her and I respect her, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to beat her. But I know that there's a lot of people gunning for her, and I have a journey because I set it up this way that I wanted to earn my shot at the championship. You know, I could have walked in there and said, I want a number one contenders match, or I want to get a match to see, you know, for a number one contenders. And I didn't do that. I wanted to, I mean, I wrestled Hyan, and I wrestled that Rachel Rose, who many people didn't even know before I wrestled Giselle Shaw, you know, and even Giselle, who's one of the newer girls on the roster, but she's still awesome. There's a reason why she has a job, you know. And now this weekend, like Mia, I love and respect Mia, but I don't want Mia to go light on me either, because that's not the type of matches I'm asking for. Like when I said I wanted to test myself, I really want to test myself. So I don't expect, if Jordan is still champion by the time I get to the top of the mountain, which I have a lot of confidence that she will be. And I hope she is, you know, because I would really love to wrestle her. But if she's not, whoever's there, I don't expect them to go easy on me.
Absolutely. And Mickie, real quick, we've got Raven going into the Hall of Fame this coming weekend. Great person Raven is. And, you know, in the Hall of Fame, we see Gail Kim, we see Awesome Kong. You yourself are going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no questions asked. Are there any other knockouts that you would like to see get inducted in the Hall of Fame? Who do you think the next deserving one would be?
Oh God. Tracy Brooks. Their original OG knockout.
Toronto's finest. We love her.
Oh, that's right. Or a Tara. I think Tara was, and she did incredible things. I mean, hell, even the beautiful people, I felt like they were so over when they were there, like as a group, especially in a tag team. I mean, when we were there, and when I was, 2010, like those ladies would get some of the hottest reactions of the night, you know, like the people loved the beautiful people, whether they were mostly bad girls, you know, obviously. But yeah, I always say I always feel like there's a long list of ladies that belong in the Hall of Fame. And I say this, you know, all the time before me, but I always go back to the women that I watched and that inspired me, you know? And so, yeah.
Oh,
Tyler, thank you for your questions.
I appreciate the time, guys. Thank you very much.
Of
Best
course.
of luck on the pay-per-view.
We appreciate it.
you.
Just going forward, because we're running down on time here, and we want to make sure we get to everybody. Just limit your questions to one question a piece.
It was
Thank
the
you
train
very much.
story, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't just a train story.
It went on a little
That
long.
was interesting, though.
Yeah.
Let's shift from Toronto to Puerto Rico. This is Michael Morales Torres from Lucha Libre Online. Michael, how you doing?
Hi, Michael. How you doing in Puerto Rico?
All good, dealing with
I've been
cooler
praying for you
hurricanes.
guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you. We really appreciate it.
Awful.
Puerto Rico loves you and Tom as well. Since we're limiting to one per person, you've been inside this industry for around 23 years approximately. You even made your debut for the original version of TNA as Alexis Larry, if I'm not mistaken, in the
Mhm.
first pay-per-view. How do you feel actually knowing that you changed the game? Mickie James is part of the success of the women's division all around the globe and all the wrestling industry. So, as a performer and as a human, how do you feel knowing that you had the opportunity to actually make the change for the whole industry?
I appreciate you saying that, but I'm very grateful and humbled because, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I was given. I'm grateful for my bosses that gave me those opportunities when they could have given those opportunities to anyone. And I'm super grateful for the women that I shared those moments with, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to do any of those things, So as much as, thank you for saying that, but none of that could have happened without my dance partners, without the people who were on Team MJ the whole way. I would never fully sit here and take credit for any of all the credit. I will take some of the credit because I had to work really hard and very long and my back hurt, all the things. But if I hadn't had the partners that I've had, and the moments that I've been given and the opportunities that we fought for to get, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So I appreciate you saying that, but a lot of that credit, is dispersed in a big potluck of love.
It's a lot of teamwork. Michael, thank you for your
Makes
question.
the
We
dream work.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
to both of you.
Up next is Him and Shu from Count It Out.
Oh, right. Or is it?
Him and Shu, do we have you?
He got counted out.
I see what you did there. That was nice. Him and Shu, one last call.
Hey, can you
There
hear
you
me?
are.
Hi.
Yes, we have you
Hey
now.
everyone. Hey
Hello.
Mickie, this is Himanshu from 411mania.com. I hope
Okay.
everyone's having a great day.
We-
My question to Mickie James is, if or when you do hang up your boots, do you see yourself continuing on in the wrestling business in some way? And if you do, would it be in an on-screen role or an on-camera role or a backstage role like a producer or agent or a talent scout or part of the creative team? What role interests you the most?
All of them. I love every, and that's kind of the beautiful thing. I really, I've dedicated over half my life to this business, and in that time, I've really tried to learn as much as I can about every aspect of the business. From behind the scenes, I've been a commentator, I've been a producer, I've been a trainer, I've been a lot of things, and there's a unique sense of joy that I get from each of those things. And I could see myself as a manager, I could see myself as a commentator, I could see myself behind the scenes work, what I really love is my part of the creative process, and to help people find and fine tune, whether it be their promos or the character development and storylines. I've always been, even as a fan, I love wrestling, but it wasn't the wrestling that made me fall in love with wrestling. It was the storylines and the characters. And so that's really where my heart mostly is. And I feel like that's where a lot of younger talent need the most kind of guidance in, because they've been trained on wrestling, but it's hard to teach like character development and just like that on switch, and it's hard to define, but and I love helping the future, and I'm grateful that I have hopefully a little bit of knowledge to share with them. And if I've made a lot of mistakes, I've had a lot of successes, but I've also made a lot of mistakes, and I know people are going to make their own mistakes and learn from their own mistakes, but perhaps if I can streamline that for them so they don't make as many and it shortens up that journey for them to get to the top, then that might be pretty awesome. And I think I would find a genuine reward in that as well. So
Himanshu,
Well,
thank you for your
time.
question. My apologies for miscommunication are in Himanshu from 411 Mania. So we do want to thank you for representing 411 Mania and jumping on this call. Up next, provided I have this correct, is James from Cafe de Rene. That's wonderful.
Ooh.
Hello.
How you doing, James?
Hi,
yeah,
James.
in the middle of a run, so I do apologize. It's quite dark outside.
Oh, you're running.
Yeah, Mickie. Also, I do this podcast actually with Rene Dupree. He says hello.
Tell him hello. He's been asking me to come on his podcast, so we'll have to set that.
We'll sort that one day.
We'll sort it.
So, hard question for you, Mickie, but I will ask it. Hopefully, this is not the end of your career, but if it is, who would you say is on the Mount Rushmore of your opponents in your career?
Oh God. That's a really tough one because I've had some pretty amazing women. Obviously Trish is up there because it kickstarted, launched my whole career. And plus we just have we're still friends to this day. And I just love and respect her so much. I would put, Lita for different reasons. Like obviously I was in her retirement match, but you know, a young Alexis Lurie, our journeys and our paths were very similar, and she would help me out a lot when I was just trying to get a job and trying to get seen and get an opportunity. But also she let me have that last match with her before she retired. And that whole story of like having to have my hand tied behind my back and all the things. I would say Melina. God, this is so hard. I say Melina because we were so equally matched and we came into OVW at the same time or right around the same time. And we had a lot of the same obstacles put in front of us. And we were very competitive, and it wasn't always a super loving relationship. Like we were like sisters who fought all the time, and we'd get along and then we didn't get along. And I love her and I respect her so much, especially now because we're on the other side of it going like, God, we really did it. Like, you know, but we would have, you know, some awesome matches because we knew that we weren't going to let up on each other, you know? So, and I say Beth Phoenix because our chemistry was just incredible. And again, we were in the trenches together. We were in OVW just trying to make it. And I watched her. I had Beth Phoenix first match in like Pennsylvania somewhere when she first started training, all the way to when she came down to OVW on her own dime. She didn't have a job. And we just had such amazing chemistry to the point. Like I just loved that story, that underdog story, and that whole, she was unstoppable and undefeated. And there, I know that there's not 5 people, but I would also put Deanna up there because I think that this last rodeo, like this last run before and to win the Knockouts championship, but Deanna put me and tested me at a time when, you know, even myself, I was like, oh, you know, I just was trying to fight for women's wrestling, and I thought I was on one path, and I didn't even have, you know, the championship on my mind at the time. But, you know, to be able to have that Texas death match and to have, you know, to main event the pay-per-view, you know, as knockout for the Knockouts World Championship, and she's incredible. And she's one of the best I've ever been in the ring with. And I think that she inspired me and reminded me what I was capable of because I stopped believing it. So
I love that.
Awesome. And yeah, good luck for the weekend.
Thank you, James.
Thank you
Get
so
home
much.
safely.
Bye.
Have a good run.
Yes, that's a first. Up next is Cody from A Glimpse Into My Mind. Hello, Cody.
Ooh, that's deep.
It is.
Hello.
Hi,
is it
Cody.
working? All right, it's working. Can you hear
Yay.
me?
Yes.
All right, so I think someone stole my question. So I'm gonna twist it out a bit. This last rodeo thing. If you had to choose a particular person to lose to from the non-knockouts roster on the independents, who would you choose? Who
None
would
of
you like
them.
to?
None of them.
I mean, passing the torch wise or something like that. Like if you had to choose a respectable opponent to lose to have a great match, and to be the, not the opinionated winner, but the.
But you're saying a non-knockout?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not that familiar with the independent scene. Like,
No?
it's hard enough to keep up with the television scene. So I'm not as familiar with the independent scene, but I can tell you, I don't want anybody to beat me. I really don't. I mean, I feel like someone's going to beat me eventually. Maybe.
All right.
If they're having a great day and I'm having a bad day.
Well, best of your luck with your match at BFG.
I mean, is there somebody that you think that I should pass the torch to, as they say?
There's a few independent wrestlers, independent women I like to look into. Raylan, Heather Monroe.
Okay.
Billy Starks.
I know Raylan. Yeah.
Billy Starks is an up and comer. She's amazing.
Who?
There's a lot. Billy Starks.
Oh yes. Yes, Billy Starks. Yes, I like her a lot.
There's quite a few independent women I want to see you wrestle, but I don't want them to be at your last.
No, I don't want them to beat me. No. Sure, I'll wrestle. I want to wrestle them, but I don't want them to beat me.
Yeah. I don't know if someone stole my question, so I would say as knockouts would be the same answer. Like, which one of the knockouts would you see as a threat?
Career. Well, the reality is I see everyone as a threat. I see everyone as a threat. I mean, like I said, everybody has their day. And I mean, I didn't expect to lose the Knockouts Championship, World Championship in the first place, but Tasha beat me. And she was an awesome champion. When she won that championship, she represented that championship. And I thought she did a great job. And it was bittersweet because I lost it. But at the same time, it wasn't something I was expecting at the time. Right. So you can never downplay any of your opponents because they're all a threat and they all want to win. And they can say that they don't want to beat me, but at the same time, what a great thing to put beside their thing is that they're the person who retired Mickie James, so I wouldn't put it past any of them to try to beat me.
The idea is not to get beaten. So
the idea is not to get,
Cody, thank you very much for your questions. We appreciate it. Again, we're going to try and get to as many as we possibly can here. I know we're coming up on 3:00. We might go a few minutes over here. So thank you everybody for bearing with us. Next up is Sam Smith from Soundsphere. There's a lot of S's there in the United Kingdom.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Mickie. So thinking back, let's say we moving ahead after Bound for Glory. Let's imagine when you get past Mia Yim, which you will. Exactly. So last year, something very special happened for wrestling fans in general, not just Impact fans, which was you walking out, holding the Impact Knockouts title at the Royal Rumble. Now, as an Impact fan, I can't tell you how important that was. Amazing to see after over 20 years. It was just amazing to see that. So that's going down in history straight away. Even if you do retire after this, like that, you've got that forever. However, if you do get past Mia Yim, when you get past Mia Yim, is there any possibility of you doing that again? Because you've opened a door there.
Yeah. And I'm very blessed and very fortunate. And as a Impact Wrestling fan and as a WWE wrestling fan, as a wrestling fan as a whole, I know some people like to try to downplay how impactful that was, but we would, it opened up the door for someone like Cody Rhodes to come back at WrestleMania, and this was not something, I know other companies have done it and talked about it, but WWE had never done that before, especially for the women. And I think the last time that a championship had been seen on their programming that was not their championship was Dan the Beast Severn, when he was like NWA champion, or maybe Jeff Jarrett, which was 20 years ago, but not this era of wrestling. And I felt like it was important to me, for many reasons, to have that closure, I think, because of the circumstances, and I knew it wasn't a purposeful thing when I left. And I was blessed to be able to be the Knockouts World Champion. And if I was going to go back to the Rumble, I wanted to represent Impact, and I wanted to represent that championship with class. And because it is important, I think that the Knockouts, I've always said it, that the Knockouts are the cream of the crop. And I feel like they're often, because they've been doing so many amazing things for so long, that people forget how awesome they are. And I thought that it was really special. And I thought it was really special that both companies allowed that moment to happen. And it was beautiful and it was special. And for us, it hadn't been done before, you know? And so regardless, that is a very, very special moment in wrestling history and my own history. And I was, you know, really grateful to be the one to be able to do it. So, yeah, I mean, who's to say? You know, who's to say?
Milestone moment. It was a milestone moment. Sam, thank you for your question. We appreciate it. Up next is Lee Walker III from Perched on the Top Rope. Lee, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Well, you got a full setup there. Good for you.
Look at you go there, Lee Walker III.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I know we've heard a lot of questions in regards to retirement, your last rodeo and everything like that. As you can see, based off my setup, I'm going to go in a different direction. And I would actually like Mickie to hear your opinion. You're someone who has action figures. So how is it important? Like, how important it is to you as a performer, part of Impact Wrestling, for Impact to rejoin the figure line with Cella Toys? And would you like to be part of the line? Because we've already heard the announcements from the Major Wrestling Figure podcast.
Yeah, I saw that. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I just released, or it's actually on only for pre-order now through figuremania.net, the action figure that's represented from the Royal Rumble when I was Impact Knockouts World Champion. So, but that's my first figure in God, how long? I don't know. And I've had a bunch. Like my first one was the cutest. It was my favorite. The WWE one, which was like this little mini pink box with the flowers all over. It's still my favorite figure. And I don't know if it was just because of my first or because it was the cutest. Because one of those figures, I remember looking and I was like, I don't think this one looks anything like me. Like, I feel like they put my hair on Tori Wilson's face. I don't know. So it's cool. And I think for collectors, especially, like, you know, those action figures, I never realized what a big deal a lot of these figures are, but some of them, they represent some really, really cool moments. And what I'd really love is, like, if Cella's going to do these things with Impact, is like, we could also do, when you go throwback, where they had the weapons. Like, I remember having the championship with one of my action figures. I remember having a chair with one of my action figures. I don't know why I had a chair, but I did have a chair. But some of the, you know, they come with all these different kind of styles or different gears, and they're fun. I think they're fun collector's items, and my son usually opens them and plays with them, so they're no longer collector's items, but that's okay. It's fine. But yeah, it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Awesome. I'll be there October 7th and October 8th in Albany, New York, because that's my hometown. So I will see y'all there.
Sweet.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Can't wait.
We appreciate you jumping on here, and thank you for coming out this weekend. We have time for one last question. I want to thank all the fans that are tuning in around the world and all the media that have joined us. Our last question comes from Eric Van from eViz TV. Eric.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Mickie. How you doing?
Hi, Eric. Doing great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Got to meet you at the Rumble in January, and I appreciate that picture and just giving me the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a great show.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep my question short and sweet. It kind of got asked earlier, but I'm gonna try and flip this the best way I can. I know with this being, you know, possibly the last run, if you do decide to come back as a manager, is there a particular Impact wrestler from a female roster or male roster that you would like to manage?
Probably my husband. You know,
That'd be cool.
because it would be cool, you know, because when you get us, you get all this. Get it? Because I already have our tagline.
Yeah.
It's already
Yeah.
our tagline. I already, you know, I didn't make that up. Actually, he made that up. He hit me with that line one day when we first started dating, and obviously it worked. Clearly.
Very nice. Very nice. Eric, we appreciate your question.
Thank you,
for
Eric.
jumping on. Mickie, thank you so much for your time. I know you have a busy schedule and we went a little past 3 p.m.
That's
Eastern,
okay.
but thank you so
No, I
much. And
appreciate you, Tom. Thank you. I can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you either. I hope that this Friday night at Bound for Glory is not the last match for Mickie James, but I'm excited to be calling the last rodeo, and we'll see where this takes you. So best of
I
luck at Bound
appreciate
for Glory.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you to
Mia,
everybody.
if you're
Yep.
listening, bring it, baby.
Thank you to everybody that's tuned in. And hopefully, if you're not able to be there in Albany for Bound for Glory or Bound for Glory Fallout this Friday and Saturday, again, those tickets are available at impactwrestling.com. Tune in on pay-per-view and Fight TV this Friday night for Bound for Glory. For Mickie James, I'm Tom Hannifan. See ya.